Hey there, in this video we'll talk about the discussion section, which is exactly what you remember it to be. It is where you interpret your results. You are taking the stuff that you presented in the section before, the results section, and you are putting some context to it, essentially taking the ideas that you put forth and using it to say that you are proving something, that you claim something, so on and so forth. And it should tie together with your introduction and results section. So whatever pieces of results that you have and whatever you had in your introduction, you should be kind of relating it in your discussion. This section will be a lot longer than your poster's version of this section because your poster has to be concrete, very specific, very quick. This one is much more relaxed and free flowing for you, but it also means that it'll take you a little bit longer. It might be a little bit more challenging for you and take the most deliberation, if you will. But one strategy that I've found that works pretty much with every paper that I've seen is that if you begin by explicitly stating the main findings of your research, as in summarizing one sentence or two, the main finding of your research, not restating the results, but summarizing your results, then reminding the reader of the knowledge gap that you identified in your introduction, and then quickly explicitly stating how your result or how your experiment moved the field forward into that knowledge gap, as in my experiment addressed this knowledge gap uh, by doing blah blah blah. That is a good way to set this up and could be even a really good first paragraph for your discussion section. It makes sense to me and kind of almost gives you like an introduction to your discussion that you're used to from making thesis statements and topic sentences and stuff. So after opening that way, I would address your question and hypotheses with specific evidence from your results, as in if you had multiple hypotheses or if you had one overarching hypothesis, you want to be able to tie in those specific pieces of data from your results to answering that question or putting forth that theory. And if there are multiple possible interpretations, as in if you think that your results show one of two things or two of two things, you want to be able to clearly lay out each possible explanation. The example I had the other day with the cowbirds uh, being able to deal with invading nesting young, one possible interpretation of that is that, well, young will get the cowbird's young will get more resources from their parents because their parents are actually paying attention to multiple individuals and therefore are trying harder. Or another theory or explanation for it would be that the cowbirds are getting prepared at parenting in multiple generations, so they have the ability to practice on the young ones that aren't actually theirs. So those are two competing explanations of it, and the results would have to dictate which one of those explanations it would be. So your job is to kind of either set up one explanation or antagonize and rule out another explanation. But you want to keep your discussion question, your discussion section as concrete as possible, as bare bones as possible, very specific as possible, by referring to the results to support each given interpretation. Meaning that if you have multiple interpretations, yes, you may pick and choose which one you think is appropriate, but you're going to use your data, your specific results, to back up that claim. This would also be a good time to reference pre-existing literature that you saw in your introduction and how your results might relate to previous findings. And it could be something that you didn't even cite in your introduction, as in if you found something else that supports your interpretation of your results and you saw this paper that did that, well, bring that paper in right here so that backs you up. Now, if your results are inconsistent with previous literature findings, that doesn't mean that you're wrong. You just have to discuss why this might be the case. So either you are proving your claim or proving that a claim is other than what has been said before and why this might be the case. If you've done claim evidence reasoning papers for your science classes, this would be a good time to bring that all together here. If not, I'm happy to help out with this particular section because you guys are smart enough to know what your results mean. You just might not be able to put it on paper. And this is the part that probably will take you the longest time, even though it's as loosey-goosey as any other part of this paper. Okay? Let me know I can help out. Good luck, be smart. Last video tomorrow will be the conclusion section.